fans, from the Palace on the Parkway. It's the Maroon Gray Classic tonight as we are 2 weeks away from the Salt Bowl. Benton going to dust off the rust of summer, and we're going to get our first look at the 2015 Panthers tonight, Terry Benham.
Well, you know, they say it's Friday night in Benton, Arkansas, and it's time to eat.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have eaten tonight with the food trucks
Wow.
here. What a great thing tonight.
What a great thing indeed. And have you ever seen a crowd this big for a Maroon Gray game?
No, it's the best I've ever seen by far, stretching end to end, 10-yard line to 10-yard line on the home bleachers. And at its peak, this was as full as we've ever seen on a Friday night home game, Tony.
I'll tell you what, this is what winning does. It fills the stands. It gets kids out. I counted 56 kids out for 8th grade football. That's incredible to me. and it's what winning does. It's residual. It winning, and people want to be a part of it. You want to sit in the stands. You want to be in the booth. You want to be on the field. Everybody's excited.
56 on the 8th grade, I believe 52 on that freshman team. First impressions of the junior high Panthers, Terry?
Wow, there's a lot of really good-looking athletes on that junior high team, and there's a lot of team speed. One of the things that one of the dads was talking about as we were just sitting and watching the junior high game is the difference in the size between the 8th grade team and the 9th grade team. He said, you know, when my son hit that summer between those two grades, he just really shot up. And boy, you could really see the size difference when the 9th grade team came on the field.
And I believe offensively we saw a lot of explosiveness, especially that 8th grade first team offense, Tony Stowers.
Yeah, all over the field. Just real impressive performance. You know, got a lot of respect for Coach Shaw. He does a great job, and was no less tonight. They look good tonight.
And that 9th grade team, boy, we saw it last year as 8th graders, number 71, 72, and 73. John George, Robert Langford, and Dylan Ferguson. There are some high schools that would trade for those guys.
Yeah, those guys could be a starting line for a lot of small high schools across the state of Arkansas, and they're just 9th graders. So it looks like we've got several more years to watch those guys play.
A lot to be excited about with Benton Junior High football, and a whole lot to be excited about when it comes to the high school Panthers this year. Terry Benham, as you think about what we saw a couple of Saturday mornings ago on a very, very hot scrimmage, our first look at the Panthers, they've had 2 weeks to iron things out. First impressions of the team so far this year.
Well, you know, the one thing that I've noticed over the last 2 weeks since that first scrimmage and had the opportunity to kind of see some of the practices, and you can really see the growth that Coach Nethery is doing with the quarterbacks and the receivers. There was a lot of drop balls in the original scrimmage and some missed receivers, and some of that has tightened up over the last couple of weeks. And, you know, one of the things that I'm really looking for tonight, Jim, is to see Nate Beck do what he did in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all eyes were on him in the spring game, and he came out, and I can't remember, Tony, what it was off the top of my head, but it's something like 11 out of 18 for 180-something yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Was quite a debut, kind of a coming-out party, and that's actually one of the things I'm looking for tonight.
Okay. Can Nate Beck build off of that spring game? He's had an entire summer of 7-on-7. He's had the start of fall camp here to continue to settle in and get comfortable.
Well, you know, though, here's the thing with our defense. You know, when I first came to Benton, we had to score 50 or 60 points to win a football game. That's not the case anymore. We have a top-of-the-line defense, and hopefully that'll keep Nate from feeling overwhelmed. They don't have to put up 30 or 40 or 50 a game to win.
And I think going back to the 2 Saturdays ago, the guy that really stood out, I believe, in that scrimmage was Brandon Hunter.
He was.
Yeah.
A 47-yard touchdown run, over 70 yards rushing. Boy, that takes a lot of pressure off a quarterback when you got a guy with Brandon Hunter's breakaway ability.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to say is, one thing that takes a lot of pressure off of a quarterback is when he has not one but two running backs that he can hand the ball off that are really kind of a lightning and thunder complement to each other. If Brandon gets open space, he's gone. And the thing about Drew Dyer is if Drew doesn't have open space, he's still going to get 3 or 4 yards.
Punishing Drew Dyer in that backfield. 124 catches from his H-back position. He's only lost 24 yards rushing in 2 years, Tony. He always falls forward.
He does. He always falls forward. And, boy, he doesn't look like he should be as hard to tackle as he is. But, man, I'll tell you what, I would not want to put a pad on him because he is tough to bring down.
A bowling ball of butcher knives?
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Who wants to get in Drew Dyer's way? So between Drew Dyer and Brandon Hunter, you've got a great backfield. You've got some wide receivers coming on. You've got a young quarterback, but you've got a good offensive line, Terry.
Yeah, you sure do. With Selleck Childress and Bolin and a couple of the others, they really have a strong front. And those guys have been playing together since they were 8th graders too, Jim. And so, there's a lot of really good team chemistry up on that front five, and the weight room is starting to show up.
A state champion in the Benton football program in the off-season weightlifting program.
That's right.
How about a state champion out here on the field right now, the Benton cheerleaders?
Yeah.
And Matt Johnson's getting you some good pictures of the cheerleaders. Appreciate Mason Woolbright and Aaron Garrett and Casey McCool, who are running our cameras for us tonight.
Have we got a hookup with Dio? Looks like Dio is down on the sidelines. Let's see if we can't throw one down to him.
All right, we're going to go down to the field to Dio Vanucci, and he's got Coach Scott Nethery with him.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Nethery. Coach, we got a huge crowd, probably a record crowd for the Maroon Gray game. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking for tonight.
We want to make sure nobody gets hurt. That's the main thing. We want the kids to have a good time. We want the parents to be able to see them play and everything. But you know what this is the official start of football in Benton, Arkansas tonight.
We're happy to hear that, Coach. Thanks. Y'all have a good scrimmage tonight. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dio. Scott Nethery, the head Panther, and his Panthers are about ready to take the field, coming out from underneath that very impressive tunnel that they enter in, and a new look Panthers, not just in terms of personnel, but in uniform.
Yeah, that all-white look is the first time I've seen that on at least the recent Panther teams, and of course that brand new looking helmet. Man, what an outstanding look that is.
And they're getting a look. You can see as the camera is focused down into the end zone there, the young men looking back up at the video board, seeing the hot video, Terry.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to watch a video up on the big board, almost like a college environment. And the players always seem to turn around and want to watch the video, kind of gets them amped up before they run out onto the field.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a big GAC football fan. I love watching Harding and Henderson and Ouachita. There is no GAC school that does this sort of thing right here. It is a big-time atmosphere for high school football right here in our hometown of Benton, Arkansas.
We got to see it down at Family Farm that night, and the kids just hoop and holler. They love it, man.
They did, didn't they? I mean, you can only imagine what it's like to be a 16, 17-year-old kid and see yourself up on the big board like Ben Brazel right there running a touchdown back against Lake Hamilton last year.
Boy, what a play that was too, huh? That was a fantastic game, and was a little bit of a prelude, I think, to what Panther fans are going to see this year. When Kaysen went down, Kaysen Mertens, our all-state quarterback, threw for over 3,000 yards and about 33 touchdowns. Well, Kaysen goes out last year, and the Panther defense had to step up. And that's when I think, Jim, everyone knew we were going to have a special team last year.
Absolutely. And as we did the preview 2 weeks ago, Coach Nethery and Coach Harris both said the Lake Hamilton game was the game where it really came together. And here come the 2015 Benton Panthers onto the field, led by the cheerleaders and the fans here on the home side, all on their feet, welcoming them to the field. As you think about what lies ahead for these Panthers, maybe just a quick glimpse at the 6A South going into this football season, Terry.
Well, I think all eyes are on Pine Bluff, but the 6A South is a lot like the SEC West. 4 of the top 5 football teams in Class 6A are all from the 6A South. And so you've got number 1 Pine Bluff, number 2 El Dorado, number 3, we're number 3, number 4 was Greenwood, and number 5 was Parkview. And so that's half of our season is against top 10 teams. Got Nitschke down on the sidelines.
Yeah, we're going to throw it down to Dio before the action gets started. He's got senior Panther linebacker Kyler Nitschke.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with senior linebacker Kyler Nitschke. Now, Kyler, the last name, you got to tell us if you're related to the famous NFL linebacker.
Yes, sir. Actually, it's my great-grandfather's brother. That's how I'm related to him.
Well,
my dad's side.
That's a pretty good family connection there at linebacker. So this is your senior year. Tell us a little bit about your goals this year.
My goals this year are going to be to lead the team in not only tackles, but just being in a defensive role on the field.
So last year, you guys had some great defensive games. Tell us a little bit about your favorite game last year.
Oh, the favorite game's got to be the defensive dominant game, which is against Lake Hamilton, where defense just took over and we had a great game.
I think we got that answer from just about every Panther, especially the defensive Panthers that we interviewed. They all pretty much liked the Lake Hamilton game. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here. Have a great scrimmage, and we'll see you this season. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Dio. It took the Panthers just 2 plays. Tony to cover 70 yards. Brandon Hunter carried the ball on first down, and after a first down pickup, Nate Beck hooks up with Drew Dyer for the touchdown.
Didn't take long. A couple of nice plays. I'll tell you, Brandon is going to be so elusive. He is going to be hard to handle.
Shock and awe.
Right there in the same backfield.
Right out of the gate. The offense comes out, the quick strike and a fantastic run prior to the touchdown pass by Brandon Hunter, who changed directions probably 2 or 3 times for a gain of about 25 yards on the first play, and then it was Drew on the flats, and he was gone.
15 plays between the first team offense against the second team defense. That offense has Nate Beck engineering at quarterback, Brandon Hunter in the backfield, Drew Dyer's the H-back. Nate Beck fakes it to Hunter. He's going deep to Colton Nix, who reaches out and can't quite haul it in. And there's the deep threat to Colton right there.
Yeah, what a great pass, Tony. He really set his feet and got a good arm back there and just overthrew him probably a yard.
Yeah, and the defense kind of creeps up wanting to stop Hunter. Man, I'll tell you do that a couple of times. That's not going to happen.
Second down play and give it to Drew Dyer, and Drew Dyer's going to bust his way up over the 40-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 41, and it's a first down for the first team offense.
Nice little read option there by Beck, and had a decent hole on the left-hand side.
First down play, give it to Hunter again. Great shift in the line, and Hunter's going to pick up 7 yards on the first down carry. He's running behind Jacob Cooper, Selleck Childress, Brett Tittle, Preston Madison, and Roy Blaylock along that offensive line.
He really runs well with his eyes.
2nd and 3, snap back to Beck. Beck's rolling out, gets some protection from Brandon Hunter. Beck with a great move to slip a tackle. He gets a good block from Drew Dyer, and Nate Beck is up into the defensive territory at the 43-yard line, and a Benton offense first down.
Tony, what a great block by Drew Dyer. Came back across the field.
I'll tell you what, man, that is one of my favorite moments watching a football game, is that kind of block that's a little unaware of it coming.
Give to Brandon Hunter, and Hunter is into the secondary, and Hunter's gone. Running behind Roy Blaylock and Preston Madison for the touchdown. That's Brandon Hunter in the end zone for the second score for the Benton offense in just 7 plays.
Jim, that's exactly what we talked about right at the pregame, is once he gets in open space, it's curtains. He's got great speed and very good vision and finds that open lane to run in.
Matt Warwick is going to boot it through. He almost booted it all the way to the tunnel. And so the Panther offense in 7 plays, 2 touchdowns, 140 yards they've covered. Tony, the Brandon Hunter we saw 2 Saturdays ago, we're seeing again here tonight.
Yeah, big holes too. I mean, not taking any away from Brandon, but I think that maybe I could have got 5 yards on that play.
Well, you look at that offensive line. Preston Madison's a 3-year starter. Roy Blaylock's a 3-year starter. Selleck Childress was an anchor in that line last year. Jacob Cooper got some starts as a sophomore. Now Brett Tittle, who was the center his freshman year, centering for the varsity here, and it looks like the varsity offense has drawn the second-team defense offside. So it'll be 1st and 5 for the Panther offense. And I got to tell you, I like those white uniforms.
I do too.
They're slick.
I do too. They look good, don't they?
Especially the white shoes.
Where's Billy Johnson? 1st and 5 for the Benton offense. Dylan Murphy in there at fullback now. Drew Dyer's going to follow Dylan, and he's going to pick up 5, 6, 7 yards on the play. Panthers going with a power look there, Terry, in the backfield.
Yeah, it looked good too, and Dylan's pants threw me off there. He had the maroon on. I didn't exactly know what was going on.
It definitely stands out back there in the maroon pants, but Coach Nethery's hinted at this, that we might see a real power look in the backfield. We're seeing it right here as Beck takes the snap, gives off to Dylan Murphy. Boy, wow. Dylan Murphy, a clone of Drew Dyer right there. Takes 3 men to bring him down, but not before first down yardage.
He kind of hit that hole like last year's big running back, Chase Shamlin.
Preston, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Preston Stone in there at receiver. Also, Ty Callahan checks in at receiver. Give off to Drew Dyer, and Dyer stripped of the football. And I believe the defense may have come up with that one, guys.
It sure looks that way. I didn't really see what had happened. He kept running, so it looked like the defense was still pursuing him. I'm not sure everyone knew the ball was on the ground.
Well, Bill Williams probably doesn't like his spot on that second-team defensive line. He strips Drew Dyer of the ball, forces a turnover. Guys, that's something we never see, a Drew Dyer fumble.
Yep, that's exactly right. As a matter of fact, I can't remember a single fumble last year.
No. Absolutely sure-handed and dependable.
You know, he really is a complete back, Tony. He blocks well, he catches exceptional, and he really runs hard. It's hard to find a back that is the total package like that.
First down for the Panther offense on the change of possession. Nate Beck being pressured from behind. He rolls to the short sideline, trying to get it to Jordan Nash, and it's incomplete. Coverage that time for Barrett Warhurst.
It looked like the right side of the line, Jim, kind of collapsed on Beck that time, but he's a pretty mobile guy. Got out of the pocket and was able to square his shoulders and fire the ball out.
Yeah, Brad Harris's defense is going to bring pressure. We know that.
Absolutely, every play.
It's a bad snap over Nate's head, and they're going to blow the whistle. Don't want Nate to get hit. And they're going to blow it dead on the snap there. So Panthers with a little bit of a lineup change here on the offensive line. Brett Tittle had been in there. We've seen Preston Madison in practice work at center, and he's in there now with number 57. That's Taylor Cochran, the junior, at right guard as Madison moves over to center. 3rd down and 19 for the offense. Good snap to Nate Beck. He fires a pass to Trey Pepper. Trey with a good catch right off the turf at the 35-yard line.
That was a very nice catch. He went after the ball and got down on the ground for it. Otherwise, that would have been incomplete.
So we're not having punts in the scrimmage. They're going to bring it back to the 30-yard line and reset the downs, make it first down.
Looks like this second team defense kind of stiffened up a little bit.
After those first two,
Yep.
yeah.
I think Coach Harris got on them a little bit and decided, yeah, we're going to start sending in the cavalry.
Well, Coach Harris's defense is not prone to give up the big play, and they are prone to force a turnover, and we saw that with Bill Williams stripping Drew Dyer. 1st and 10 for the offense. Nate Beck still in there at quarterback. Brandon Hunter set up to his right side, trying to get the ball to Grayson Morrow, and Beck leads him a little too far, incomplete.
Yeah, I think that would sailed on him a little bit, but it looks like we've got a flag on the ground. This may be holding. Yep.
I believe that's Gary Ramsey throwing the flag on the near sideline.
You just know everybody.
I'll
don't you?
tell you, this is our Benton crew. Got Brad Collett out there in the back, Brent Jones. Oh, Gary, he's been a lifer in that zebra uniform.
Brad Collett, there's a name I hadn't heard in a while.
First down they got it showing 2nd and 20. Should be 1st and 20 on the hold.
Here comes the tunnel screen. Looks like we may have another flag.
Do it to Preston Stone, but we're going to get a false start on the Benton offense.
Kind of backing themselves up, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, this is the Tony Price, something that doesn't make Coach Nethery happy here, these pre-snap infractions.
No, 3 penalties. We're still inside the first 15 plays, I guess, and 3 penalties, and that's probably something that he'll work on, I imagine.
Snap back to Nate Beck. He's going to throw it out to Preston Stone. Stone with the catch, and he's going to fight his way over the 20 before he is dragged down by Jacob Jarrett, senior defensive back. 7-yard gain, and it'll be a 2nd down and 18.
He's a really good athlete. Preston Stone can probably play 3 or 4 different positions for the Panthers this year, and he's added a lot of depth.
Beck drops back to pass. He's trying to get it to Drew Dyer. It just overthrows him in the center of the field up the seam, and that's the 15th play for that first team offense. And we're going to switch personnel. Tony, how about a stats update for the 15 plays of the first team offense?
Nate went 3 of 7 for 70 yards. Of course, the big one to Drew for 50 was the bulk of that, and then Brandon Hunter, 3 carries, 60 yards, and the TD there. So they're statistical leaders right now. Drew Dyer had 3 rushes for 28 yards and that catch for 50. So, you take away the penalties, pretty good performance, I think, by the first offense.
And now we're going to get a look at that first-team Panther defense. John Penn will be at defensive end. Jeremiah Bowling at defensive end. Mel Hegwood and Buddy Riggin will alternate at nose tackle. The linebackers will be Braylon Alcorn, Braden Harris, Dylan Murphy, Ben Brazel, and Kyler Nitschke. The corners are Simeon Watson and Preston Stone. And the free safety is Steve Atwater lookalike Dante Winston.
He is a good-looking athlete, isn't he?
Nate Beck staying in there at quarterback. He tries to get it to Ty Callahan in the flat, and Kyler Nitschke and Ben Brazel are right there, Johnny on the spot. 2nd and 10.
One of the things that I think a lot of teams are going to struggle with is trying to be physical with Ben Brazel over the flats.
Oh, my word. That Braden Harris comes through totally unblocked and drops Bo Brewer. Almost took the handoff away, guys. We saw that once last year. Braden Harris tried to do it again right there.
That's why they call him the Panther Demolition Crew.
PDC. Here he comes again, and he's picked up this time. They get the pass out to Jordan Ash. He breaks the first tackle, and then he's going to be covered up by, how about that man, Mel Hegwood, the nose man, downfield with the tackle.
He's covering some real estate.
Yes, sir. Melvin's going to come out, and Buddy Riggins going to check in.
What I was saying earlier before they snapped the ball is I noticed on the screen passes, which we're going to see against a lot of teams like Greenbrier, they're going to try to get physical with Ben Brazel over those flats, and it's just not going to work out well for him. He is just too big and too fast.
Absolutely. Dio Vanucci's got Panthers senior lineman Preston Madison down there. We're going to throw it down to Dio for a visit with Preston Madison.
Sorry, guys, had it muted there. We just missed a massive hit back here. So I'm standing here with Preston Madison. Preston, they've been moving you around a little bit, it looks like. You've played a little bit of center, and then I saw you playing some guard tonight. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Right now I'm getting first-team reps at right guard. I started the last 2 years at right guard, and I started off this spring going first-team center, and I talked to Coach G, and we had a conversation, and so I'm kind of splitting reps right now, both, just trying to see what I can, what position I'm better at, and to see what I can help the offensive line with most.
Okay. So now last year against Pine Bluff, kind of left you with a bad taste in your mouth. Tell us a little bit about, what this year means to you, your senior year, and, what your plans for this team or what you expect out of this team.
Well, yeah, last year was horrible ending to a fairy tale story, and then but this year I think the sky's the limit, and it's my senior year, and since I was up here in the stands as a little kid, I want to be a Benton Panther, and I feel like we have a strong core of seniors, and I think that if we do everything right, and things will work out for us.
That's awesome, man. Good luck on your senior year. Look forward to watching you play. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dio. I love the way Preston put that. A horrible ending to a fairy tale season. The bittersweetness of the Pine Bluff, the great win down there at Jordan Stadium, then the heartbreak at the state championship game. Preston summed up last year very well.
I thought so too, Jim. One of the things that that it was very clear at Family Farm this summer is that they all had put last season to the past.
Mm-hmm. Braden Harris trying to get a jumper out there, and
he's trying to be Tim DeZort.
Yeah, the PDC a little too exuberant that time. Preston Stone in there at quarterback. We knew we'd see this in the second team. Nate Beck, quarterback the first series. Now Preston Stone's in there, and he's going to hand it off to Bo Brewer. You're just not going to find much luck running into the teeth of that defensive line, Tony.
No, you're not. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be handed the ball in this situation right here.
No. You run into Mel Hegwood and Buddy Riggin and John Penn, no way. Preston Stone reads the option well, but again, the quickness of that defense, he read that thing perfectly, Terry, and picks up half a yard.
Not only that, but also the gap discipline that they have, because once the running back tries to get into the second level, there's just somebody waiting on him as soon as he gets there.
Junior
Very good
Hendricks.
gap discipline by those linebackers.
Absolutely. Junior Hendricks in there at cornerback as Preston Stone leaves his quarterback position to quarterback. There's Junior breaking up the pass attempt to Colton Nix.
Yeah, it's a really good effort by this front defensive line. And, one of the things that we had talked a little bit about before the game started, Jim, was about the depth on that defensive line. They really, out of 3 defensive linemen, they really have probably 6 starters.
They do, and we're seeing it right here as Chandler Cliff, number 98, checks in for Jeremiah Bowling at defensive end. Buddy Riggin, number 43, checks in at nose tackle in place of Mel Hegwood, and the dependable, steady John Penn in there at the other defensive end. Snap back to Preston Stone. He's reading the option. He pitches. It goes away. Ben Brazel picks it up. Kyler Nitschke trying to pick it up, and I believe Nitschke might have finally fallen on it. Guys, that's very reminiscent of last year. Brazel and Nitschke calling their names at a time of a turnover.
That's right, and that's a turnover from a defense that had 40 turnovers. I don't know a whole lot of teams at any level that had 40 turnovers on defense. And those 2 names, Brazel and Nitschke, were called a whole lot.
13 games, 40 turnovers. That's more than 3 a game, Tony.
It is, and you know what? They set our offense up in great situations. I can't tell you how many 20 and 30-yard drives we had because our defense would just put us in great shape.
4 plays left in this scrimmage of first-team defense and second-team offense. Preston Stone's picked off by Dante Winston. Dante going to try to take it to the house. He gets a block from Braden Harris. He's going to be run out of bounds at the 1-yard line, but great jump on the ball by Dante Winston.
He sure did. Boy, he got a great jump on the ball, but not only that, the vision that he had running down the field and the patience to wait on the blockers to get out in front of him probably took him another 15 yards all the way down. I thought he hit the pylon, Jim, but they said he was stepped out at the 1.
Yeah, those guys need to give it to him. Come on now.
Somebody hit the pylon.
Pylon's on the ground down
right.
there. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we saw Dante play that safety position at center field so well, but there were a couple of drops. To see Dante break on a ball and catch it in stride like that, very encouraging sign for the Panther defense. 1st and 10, Preston Stone still in there at quarterback for the second-team offense. Showing rush off the right edge. Now Kyler Nitschke gets a turn, and Kyler's going to try to get this one in there. Preston Stone going to run him out of bounds at the 8-yard line, but that's back-to-back turnovers forced by that PDC.
Well, they're good, aren't they?
I'm telling you.
Back in the spring, for those that listened back then, one of the things we said is this defense might actually be better than last year's defense. And I don't think that many of us that have been longtime Panther fans have ever seen a defense as dominant as we had last year.
And with some question marks on offense, Tony, to have a defense you can depend on, I know Scott's an offensive-minded head coach, but boy, he really propped his defense up in the Panther preview.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, a lot of teams want to depend on their defense early. We have a good one to rely on.
Hand off to Bo Brewer. He's coming to the outside, and Junior Hendricks just stands his ground, tackles him at the 40-yard line.
Brewer's showing a little bit of moves. That's a name we hadn't called very much, but he showed a pretty good speed to get to the outside there and pick up a first down.
Yeah, Bo Brewer, we saw him for 5 games last year in junior high, Tony, and he went over 700 yards rushing in 5 games.
Very impressive.
Snap back to Stone. He's going to fire it out to William Brester, and it's going to be incomplete. Want to take a second to thank our sponsors of tonight's Maroon Gray scrimmage. Everett Buick GMC, your local Kroger, where I have to take Freddie Reinhardt on the way home so he can get something for breakfast in the morning. And First Security Bank, Freddie told me on the way over, hey, can you drop me off at Kroger? I don't have anything for breakfast tomorrow. So we're going to go to Kroger, one of our fine sponsors, First Security Bank, Everett Buick GMC. Appreciate their support of Benton Panther football in 2015.
You know, they're opening a new Kroger over at the around the Alcoa exit on I-30. It's one of those Kroger marketplaces. I think they're going to open that towards the end of September. That's going to be an amazing place.
I know my wife's already counting down to the opening of that.
Well, I got to be honest with you. So is my wife, but quite frankly, so am I.
Do you do some grocery shopping in the Benham home?
Oh, you betcha.
Matt Warwick will attempt a 26-yard field goal.
Going to work on a field goal here. Grayson Morrow, the holder, and Matt Warwick's just going to boot that thing through with a strong leg, Tony.
Yeah, 29 yards, and would have been good for a lot longer than that.
Deep snapper on the Panthers special teams is John Penn. Grayson Morrow, very reliable holder. And Matt Warwick, the kicker, they're going to put the tee down at the 28-yard line. 38-yard field goal attempt here from Matt Warwick. Is he going to get there? No.
That one didn't make it. I saw him hit one earlier from 45. So he's got a leg on
Oh,
it.
yes, he does. Strong leg. Very dependable in junior high 2 years ago. There you go. That's that Matt Warwick leg we're used to. Booms that through from 38 with room to spare. Now they're going to come over to the near hash. Give Coach Nethery a chance to look at his field goal unit.
Matt Warwick will attempt a 40-yard.
Going to back it up to the 30, so it's a 40-yard attempt for Matt Warwick here. Snap back to Grayson Morrow. Hold. Matt Warwick's kick through the uprights. So Matt Warwick 3 of 4 on field goal attempts.
Well, you like to see that plenty of leg too, because it makes you feel good that, you know, at the end of the half or end of the ball game, you know, you're at the 30-yard line, 25-yard line, you've got a shot because you got a kid that can get it there.
Man. I mean, we don't win a conference championship without a field goal.
That's exactly right.
From Grant Hensey last year. So
looks like they're flipping fields, and they're going to try one more drive.
So we're going to go JV versus JV for 15 plays. I believe that's Hunter Hilson back there at quarterback for this possession. He's going to spin out of trouble and head to the sideline. He's going to be run out of bounds over there by number 36, Nicholas Carlton, and number 52, Brandon Powell.
Yeah, it looked like he had a nice little scramble there. He was in trouble early and then spun out of it and wound up picking up about 6 yards.
Hunter Hilson at quarterback, Bo Brewer in the backfield with him. And Tony, we saw these guys last year. Very electric in an end-of-the-season run for that junior high team.
Boy, it was a lot of fun doing those ball games.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I tell you, John Penn and Scotty Nally with a good job tonight.
Yes.
Calling the freshman Panthers as Hunter Hilson fires a dart to Zane Ferguson. Ferguson gets the ball into the defense's side of the field at the 45-yard line, and a first down for the Panther offense.
You know, Jim, when you're watching the JV and you see how quick they get to the line of scrimmage, you really start to understand the system that Scott Nethery is put in Benton.
Bo Brewer coming to the near sideline. He's going to continue to fight for yardage before he's swarmed under. We'll credit Brock Morris and Nicholas Carlton on the tackle, but it is one of those kind of hurry-up offensive schemes right here, isn't it?
Well, it just gives the quarterback and the coaching staffs so much time to look at the defense and try to figure out where the mismatches are and then get.
Coach Nethery is a master at getting that look, deciphering the defense, and getting the right play into his quarterback. Penalty called on the offense, going to back him up to the 48-yard line. We've got another flag before the play.
Looks like there was a little bit of illegal or offsides.
Going to call offsides on the defense, so we're just going to move it back, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. 3 plays into this last section of 15 plays for the scrimmage. Hunter Hilson's going to move Bo Brewer to his left side in the backfield. Going to throw it out to Austin Bull. Austin Bull comes back to the inside, and Austin bulling his way over the 30-yard line. He's tackled by Parrish Ross. But a great little tunnel screen there. Good block from Bo Brewer. Good running by Austin Bull.
A great run by Austin Bull and a fantastic little shift move back to the center of the field. And he's not afraid of contact, Jim.
No, he's not. He's one of the littlest Panthers, but he's one of the toughest, too. Lives up to his name as Hunter Hilson reading the option, and he gets into the secondary. He's going to be brought down by Nicholas Carlton, the safety.
It's a good, strong run for a first down.
Going to mark it at the 17-yard line as the offense is going to bring in some wholesale substitutions here. Seeing new Panther quarterback coach and sophomore JV coach Jeff McBride, former head coach at Bismarck High School, calling the plays for the JV offense. 1st down and 10. At the +17, Hunter Hilson rolling out, and they're going to blow the play dead before the defense has a chance to bring him to the ground. Credit Matthew Gear, number 50, with the sack.
Yeah, he broke through over on the right-hand side and never even slowed up. No one even got a hand on him.
Good pressure from Gear. Second down, and now right through the middle of that Panther offensive line, Seth Mannion, a sophomore with great pressure, and it's another loss for the Panther offense.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of confusion out there on the line of scrimmage about assignments and who needs to do what. The defensive line is getting through without really a whole lot of resistance.
Third down and 16 at the 24. Hilson's going to roll out, and he's going to keep it on the scramble, and he's going to be dropped down by Brandon Powell at the 15-yard line. Talking to Coach Jason Gentry, the Panther offensive line coach, he did say one of the difficulties about fall camp and the offensive line is you've got to teach these guys not only conditioning, strength, technique, you got to teach them how to block Brad Harris's scheme.
Yeah.
And look, this wouldn't be the first offensive line to be confused with a Brad Harris defense.
Well, and one of the things that that defense causes is complete chaos in your backfield. And for those teams that can pick up the blitzes and buy their quarterback enough time, they're going to have receivers open. But there's so much pressure. It's like a hurricane, Jim. It's just a constant blow of a wind, and it just comes in waves, and it doesn't stop the entire game.
It feels at times, it looks at times like 11 on 13, 11 on 14.
That's right. I believe Parkview said that last year. Said that they felt like they were playing 11 on 13. There was always at least a couple of our guys in their backfield.
Tyler Vandiver booted through a field goal, sophomore kicker. Now the offense is going to take back over possession, almost picked off there by number 95, Hunter Nett. As Hunter Hilson rolled to the far sideline. Incomplete. 9 plays in, Tony.
Hilson's first incompletion. He was 2 of 2 for 30 yards before that incompletion. I've been impressed with him.
And for the first time this year, we get to say the old 843 just rode through town. You heard the train whistle blowing in the distance. Second down and 10. Snap back. Hunter Hilson bobbles it, and he's going to fall on it very wisely before Stephen McDormand could recover it. And the Panther offense is behind the chains here, 3rd and 19.
This is where the defense pins their ears back and everybody comes running.
3rd down and 19. Snap back to Hunter Hilson. He's going to give it off to the inside of that line.
Very tough run. He's still up.
I'm not even sure who ran him off. That was a rugby scrum in the middle of the field there.
Antonio Fuller on the last carry.
Number 3, that is
Antonio Fuller.
That is not Cooper Cox.
It's Antonio Fuller.
Okay.
That's a nice run.
I'm working off the spring roster. Antonio Fuller. I believe he's a Bryant transfer.
Yeah, that kid. That's a kid that wants to run the ball again.
Yes, he does.
Because he ran that with some enthusiasm.
Making an impression here at the end of the JV scrimmage. Tonight's Maroon Gray Classic, brought to you by Everett Buick GMC on ESPN WPS and Fidelity Local Cable 6. As Hunter Hilson lowers his head, and we're going to call Parrish Ross's name again on the tackle.
And
good run
we got to
from
call
Hunter.
Antonio Fuller's name again too, because he threw the block in the backfield that sprung that play. And there's a lot of contact going on right now.
Tell you, Antonio Fuller making a good first impression as Hunter Hilson rolls out, just overthrows Landon Pelton along the far sideline.
He'd like to have that one back, Jim. That got away from him a little bit.
Caleb Munns checking into the game at receiver. Checking out for the JV offense is Logan Black, my dad's neighbor. Snap back to Hilson. He's going to fire it over the center of the field, intended for Caleb Munns. lands incomplete. We're down to the final play of this scrimmage. I believe Coach Nethery's going to call him up right here and call it a night. Coach Nethery's clapping, the coaches are clapping, the players are clapping, and the fans are.
One team, one family.
Well, it's been a good night, guys.
It sure has. Anytime that the start of the football season happens, it's going to be a good night. And what a great crowd to come out and watch the Panthers' first scrimmage. I guess we'll be back on Tuesday night, Jim.
Yeah, we do. Matt, did we get that graphic about Panther athletics next week? If we could get that graphic up, show you next week what all's going on in Benton Panther sports. The benefit scrimmage will be Tuesday night at 6 p.m. here at the Palace on the Parkway. Benton will host Little Rock Mills. The Salt Bowl. It's 2 weeks from tonight at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas. The Benton Panthers and the Bryant Hornets.
Unfinished business.
We're neighbors 364 days a year. We're enemies one. And this will be the one.
September 4th is the day that happens. That'll be the start of the 5th quarter of last year's game.
And it will not end in a tie this year.
No, that's right. AAA changed the rule.
With the change of rule of the AAA, it will not end in a tie, Tony Stowers.
No, it won't. And I think you need to be there. I think we could make Salt Bowl history that night. We had the biggest crowd ever, and 20 years from now, you can say I was there.
Well, that's the goal, Jim. The goal is to get to 30,000 fans, and of course, we're going to need all of our Panther fans to show up in order to do that. There's actually more than just a great football game to see. By showing up at the Salt Bowl, both teams get to keep the proceeds from that game, and so you'll be helping out both programs in order by showing up for it.
It's a great celebration of Saline County. We're going to throw it down to Dio Vanucci, who has Coach Scott Nethery of the Benton Panthers.
Well, Coach, you said your goal was to make sure nobody got hurt. It looks like that you accomplished that goal tonight. Tell us, did you see anything else that you noticed, any takeaways from this game that you're going to look to hone in on practice, getting ready for the Salt Bowl?
Well, to be honest with you, again, we are happy nobody got hurt, that's for sure. But, yeah, you know what? We've been looking at this all for 2 weeks now, so I knew about what we were going to see. I'm going to tell you what, I like the intensity we had on defense. I liked our quick game that we had on offense. Had a lot of big plays on quick game on offense, but we'll go and look at the film and we'll get our corrections made. Right now, got Mills on Tuesday, and then we'll get ready for Bryant.
Now, as a bystander, I've noticed an improvement in Nate Beck from, spring ball and to now. But how do you feel like he's progressing? Do you feel like he's understanding your playbook? How do you think he's coming along with that?
I think he's coming along nicely. We still got some growing pains to go through, but he's gotten a lot better since the spring. We've done a ton this summer, so yeah, he's getting better every day. And I think you saw it tonight. His passes are crisp, and it just look a lot better. He knows his reads. He's getting where he knows his checks and things like that. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, it's a big playbook to get used to, especially whenever we're all used to casing, and he did such a good job with it. But Nate's got a strong arm. He'll be fine. We just got to get it down and figure out kind of what our identity, what our personality is going to be.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Look forward to watching you in the Salt Bowl. Guys, I think that realistically there's two storylines that we can take away from tonight. One is the offense and how it's going to evolve without Case and Mertens behind center. And then second is the defense. And, guys, I can tell you from down here on the field, watching that defense, any opposing offense is going to feel like they're at a heavy metal concert in a mosh pit. There are bodies flying everywhere down here. It's loud. It's confusing. You can't tell where anybody's going to be. I'm sure you guys can see it from up there, but from down here on the field level, it's scary. I don't want to play offense against them. And I can tell you some of those high school guys, they're in for a rude awakening come the Salt Bowl. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dio. Dio's first one-liner of the year is in the house. Heavy metal at a mosh pit.
I love it.
Dio Vanucci. He is going to be a great addition to our broadcast team along the sideline this year, visiting with the coaches, visiting with the players, providing us great insight from the sideline. Guys, as we wrap up tonight, maybe a final first impression of the 2015 Panthers, Tony?
Well, the usual suspects played well tonight. Brandon Hunter, he goes 3 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Nate Beck, 5 of 10, 85 yards and a touchdown. Drew Dyer had a catch for 50 yards, ran for 28, 78 total yards. So offense, pretty much kind of what I expected. The defense, man, though, they were popping pads, man. Our defense is for real.
3 forced turnovers.
Yes.
From that defense, Terry.
They certainly arrived as advertised. And with bad intentions. The offense really looked good at the beginning. Then they started to struggle a little bit on timing as their portion of this scrimmage moved on, and then also towards the end they lost a little bit of their discipline, which is where the penalties came in. And so that put them in bad field position, and they struggled a little bit. But coming out of the gate, I thought they really looked good. The offensive line was firing off, and, boy, Brandon Hunter really showed you that speed that had been advertised.
Absolutely. And then Scott Nethery says, look, there's nothing that I saw tonight that can't be corrected. So you hear the encouragement in his voice, the optimism in his voice, and we get to come back here in 5 nights and do it again. Little Rock Mills on Tuesday at 6 o'clock in a benefit scrimmage. Next Thursday, the junior high goes down to Hot Springs Lakeside to play the Rams in the benefit scrimmage. And then 2 weeks from now, it all gets underway. The junior high begins at home on Thursday, September 3rd against Sheridan, and the Salt Bowl Friday, September 4th at War Memorial Stadium. Guys, it's going to be a fun ride.
It sure is, and everyone get your tickets now for the Salt Bowl. I think you can still pick those up at Big Red, right?
You can, along with a maroon T-shirt, not a blue one, a maroon
T-shirt. That's right.
Because we got some business to finish. We're finished here for tonight. It's been a fun night. I want to thank Matt Johnson, our producer. He is the man behind making this happen, and he does a great job. Mason Woolbright, Casey McCool, and Aaron Garrett on the cameras tonight. John Penn and Scotty Nally called the junior high game. Tony Stowers, Terry Benham, and myself, Jim Gardner, proud to call the senior high game. And the #1 Benton Panther fan, the head of Panther Spirit, Freddie Reinhardt, wearing his ESPN WPS shirt tonight. It's been a lot of fun bringing you this game on ESPN WPS 690 in Benton and Fidelity Local Cable 6. We'll see you Tuesday night for the scrimmage, Benton against Little Rock Mills.